To my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, Mbolo, Mbolo, my dear children, this is your queen, Ngningone II of the name, 17th generation crown queen of the Fangs and of the wonderful and amazing Diaspora and Africans. Also known as the Immortals, my people. Welcome, 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 my children, to Nubia, the path to return, the home of the African royals. Now, for those of you watching me for the first time, Mbolo, my name is Queen Ngningone II, and I'm the host here at Nubia, the path to return. If you like my vibe, stick around. I promise you, you will learn something. So my beautiful and amazing children, welcome back. All right, this conversation is for my proud Africans, but it's about the non-proud Africans. So them too, they are invited to the table. Let's gather, my dear royals. Let's gather around this fire. Let's have another African conversation. So what are we talking about today? My dear children, as you could see on the thumbnail and the title, today I would like to feature one of our princes, Prince Rizza Islam. We are don't have the intention or are seeking to unite a certain group of people. And our son, Prince Rizza Islam, made it very loud and clear. So in today's message, I will first run, the video to share the message with you, and then after, I will add my commentary. So let's proceed.
Groups come in and infiltrate because they have some kind of personal vendetta because they're not even owed reparations here.
I'm gonna push you gently here. I'm gonna push you gently. When you say outside groups, some people would say that sounds divisive. I mean, we're all black. I understand what you're talking about in terms of who's owed the money and who's not owed the money. But do you think that we should be maybe possibly, and I've talked to you a lot before, brother, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, inclusive in the way that we have these discussions so there's not them versus us?
Listen, they had the Emmy Awards like last week. Anytime a non-FBA person won an award, like Jamaican-American actress Cheryl Lee Ralph won an award. The minute a person who's of Nigerian descent becomes a PhD doctor, Nigerian-American PhD doctor, anytime they do something positive and constructive, they go out of their way to delineate from us, which is cool. Take your win. When we want to do something positive for our group, we're told we're being divisive if we're talking about reparations specifically for us. So they have to respect us the way we respect them.
All right, okay.
I'd like to add on to that. Everyone does not include us in their party. Everyone does not include us in everything that they do. There has to be a point of division in order for us to separate and then unite among the like-minded of our people. So let's make this very clear. When we say we want to call people out, let's make this all the way clear. Everyone knows who is real and who is not. Because there are some of us who are banned from every damn where because of how absolutely legitimate we are. So when you want to call people out, first they must be pointed out. We cannot unite with slave makers, slave owners, traitors, turncoats, nor collaborators. It ain't gonna happen like that. Too many of us are black people with white minds. And so when you put people in front who say they speak for us, but at this point it is 2022 going into 2023, and we are still in the same position, if not a little backward from where we were when it comes to our overall progress, I call conspiracy. Now, before anyone says conspiracy theory, conspiracy means when two or more groups, organizations, or individuals come together to do something that is evil and or wicked. It is an absolute conspiracy. You have too many black billionaires and millionaires who do not fund projects for black grassroots organizations to come up out of the condition that we are in. Too many people chasing the bag, but you don't get no damn respect because you sacrifice your people to be included into somebody else's group. So, let's stop the nonsense. Cut the cap. In the game. This generation ain't playing with this no more. I want us to all understand this. There is a separation here. The commercialized talking, everyone wants to be soft and talk soft. The enemy doesn't give a damn about nothing you call yourself. You can call yourself a Moor, Hebrew Israelite, you can say black, you can say FBA, all of that. We are considered to them.
That's right.
That is the very plain, simple reality. If you are a black millionaire but you can't speak the truth, you are nothing but a rich slave.
Right.
And I will never trade my place with someone who has a lot of money but no respect for my own people.
That's right.
Too many of us get comfortable once we get a check and we forget where we came from.
Right.
And you don't want to even go back around your people because you feel like we're not even worth being around. Right. So at this point, again, this is a nice stage, a wonderful event, but knock it off. Those who are really about this, be about it. So that the enemy can say, you know what, we need to stop playing with these people and give them their real respect.
Okay, my beautiful and amazing children, I felt the need to comment on this message because I realized that there's a serious listening problem with our children in the diaspora. Our children in the diaspora, they have had our fathers teaching them what's what, but something had happened after our fathers of the 60s were all gone or incarcerated. There's been a big decline in the level of consciousness, in the level of awareness.
We are African and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens. We were not brought here to enjoy the constitutional gifts that they speak so beautifully about today. And because we weren't brought here to be made citizens today, now that we've become awakened to some degree and we begin to ask for those things which they say are supposedly for America.
My dear children, when we from afar, when we see what's going on, who's who out there, we see that our blood is still alive here. This is a son of ours. The ancestors were captured the same way as Tariq Nasheed's ancestor was captured. They all went through the same type of abuse. They all went through the same discrimination. But at the end of the day, you see two complete polar opposites in the thinking, in the sense of identity, in the sense of belonging to something, in the sense of self, in a sense of dignity, completely different. That's why our people say respect blood, because blood is the defining factor. Your complete identity as to who you are, it's in your blood.
Stop saying that some of these bootlickers be doing their ancestors disservice. No, the fuck they don't. They ain't dishonoring their ancestors. They doing exactly what they ancestors. They come from a long line of tap dancers. They come from a long line of shiny shoes, bitch. So you ever wonder why you do some of the things you do? You sit up there and be like, I don't know why I fight the way I fight. I don't know why I'm pro my people like that. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I stand up. That's from your ancestral line. Some of y'all come from ancestors that was motherfucking steppers, bitch. They will take a motherfucking neck. They don't give a damn who the fuck they took. They probably took hella slave masters' neck. Don't be believing that all your ancestors just rolling over and just accepting slavery, like and being a prisoner of war and all this other shit. Ain't none of them was. A lot of your ancestors wasn't going for that shit. That's where you get it from. But then you got some of them who love to chuck and jive and tap dance. It's in their bloodline. If things is transferred through DNA, you don't think that's transferred in the motherfucking DNA? That DNA is nothing but information. They act the way that they act because their ancestors was wearing them shiny shoes, tapping the floor, doing anything to please a cotton swab, doing anything, will sell out their own people just to get a whiff of somebody white. That is in their blood pool. So don't be sitting up there talking about you doing your ancestors disservice. No, they probably making them proud. They probably making their people proud because that's what they did. That's what their ancestors did.
Blood doesn't lie. That's why we, the African, we pay attention to blood and we respect blood, because blood is life and life is blood. As you could see, my dear children, you saw your brother, Prince Rizza, put Tariq Nasheed in his place. It was time. I see that happen. So as you know, as I told you, you are not all the same, okay? Among you, you are all royals, but among you are crown royals, the sons and daughters of the kings. I know the ground just didn't swallow them up. My grandfather said it's impossible, they're still out there. And how do we recognize them? With the level of love, the level of wisdom that comes out of them. When they speak, we know who's who, and we know who the clowns are. So this is one of them. You know, he's very young too, but he got on the stage with the other ones, and among them was the troublemaker Tariq Nasheed, all right, the overseer of this generation. So Tariq Nasheed brought up the fact that, Africans and the Caribbeans, we come here, we come lurking around. According to him, we come here for reparation. America is the only place, for the first time in history, they incentivize the hatred of selves, meaning they gave our people reward, better treatment. The more they were hating themselves, the more they were hating Africa. So they taught them the hatred of Africa by feeding them lies. They taught them the hatred of Africans, knowing that the hatred of Africans would lead to the hatred of selves.
More African than he is American. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. And you show me one of these people over here who have been thoroughly brainwashed, who has a negative attitude toward Africa, and I'll show you one that has a negative attitude toward himself. You can't have a negative attitude toward yourself, a positive attitude toward yourself, and a negative attitude toward Africa at the same time. To the same degree that your attitude, that your understanding of, an attitude toward Africa becomes positive, you'll find that your understanding of and your attitude toward yourself will also become positive. And in hating our features and our skin and our blood, why we had to end up hating ourselves. And we hated ourselves. Our color became to us a chain. We felt that it was holding us back. Our color became to us like a prison, which we felt was keeping us confined, not letting us go this way or that way. And we felt that all of these restrictions were based solely upon our color, and the psychological reaction to that would have to be that as long as we felt imprisoned or chained or trapped by black skin, black features, and black blood, that skin and those features and that blood that was holding us back automatically had to become hateful.
When I tell you, many of our ancestors are reincarnated in many of our children. When they speak, the wisdom that comes through them is ancient. Listen to those our children don't want. So Tariq comes and uphold what he was taught, what his ancestor was taught when he was broken. Because as you could see, some lineage are stronger than others, undeniably so. So the quicker you guys understand that all of you are not the same, although in slavery they made us all the same, now in this time of awakening, identify who's who, know who's who, because you are not all the same. And the children of our kings and priests and dignitaries are awakening. Do you know why? Because we are our ancestors. So those of you see going around selling out and everything, don't break your head over that. It's in their blood. They came from traitors. It's in their blood. Everything concerning you, it's in your blood. That's why us, the Bantu, we respect blood, okay? I watched a video of one of our daughters. She's an entertainer. Her name is Sukihana or something like that. I heard she was a stripper. Now she upgraded to an artist and everything. She did a very candid interview in which she said, I am a hoe because I come from a bloodline of hoes. Watch this.
Well, I come from a long line of tricks and hoes. Yes, what's the eyebrow thing? I come from a long line of hoes. I'm not the first one, maybe in this generation, but it go all the way back to slavery time. And before then, with the Egyptians and the Moors, a long line of selling pussy. I'm not the first one. My auntie, my mama don't like me saying her name in my interviews. Grandmama, great-grandmama, great-great-great-grandmama.
So was any of them in a $40 line?
$40.
Openly, I mean, people were shocked because she was owning to be from that bloodline. But behind it all, us watching, we like, she recognized, she honors the bloodline. She's like, I'm not gonna try to be anything else, right? I'm gonna be what my mothers were. So we understood by there that she recognized the power in blood. It's like, okay, you may run, you may want to go do something. Whomever your ancestors were will bring you back to where you belong. Yes, that kid understood that. So she sat there, she said, yes, my mama was my grandmama, my great-great-great. She is the family business. So what? I have more respect for someone like that. You understand? So let's dive in. The Tariq Nasheed said, we Africans and Caribbean, we come here lurking. So here you have somebody or trying to be a master among us. What was the job of the masters? To separate us. Separated you guys from your homeland and separated you guys from your languages, your culture, your everything, peel you like a banana and left you out naked. That was his job. Now the master doesn't need to do it anymore. The masters have broken many of our children to the point that they are the ones spewing the master propaganda, taking ownership of such ideology and push it down the throat of our people. Many of them are putting videos out, teaching their youth that this is Egypt.
Dear Black America, we are in a state of emergency. These Negroes have lost their goddamn African mind all over this app, and they don't give a shit about spreading misinformation or disinformation to rob you of your African consciousness. That's what this shit is about. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake, the African mind is at attack. These Negroes want to be everything except for African. They want to be everything. They're the Timerians now. They're the original mound builders. They even go as far as making these AI videos that are full of shit. Go check this shit out.
Pameri as America is an ancient, sophisticated black civilization, often attributed to Egypt, actually have originated in the Americas. America was a hub of early black civilizations, hosting advanced black societies with complex architecture, mounds, pyramids, and
pseudo crack rock, family. That's exactly what this shit is. It's pseudo crack rock right now. So where do we find black people building mounds? There was a study, right, of the Hopewell mounds, and they did a genetic sample of the ancient burial remains. And guess what, niggas? They're not us. They are not us. They're not like us at all. But you can take an AI video and put all of this "we was here first" BS there. Anybody can make an AI video now, and it's gonna get worse. I just want to remind the people that this shit ain't gonna stop. Don't lose your African mind, you know. And if you hear any misinformation or disinformation like that, y'all gotta keep scrolling, because they gonna have y'all ass hot gluing feathers and shit and saying we Timerians. No proof, just belief.
And of course, just like I said, our forefathers' children are still around. This is the hard job they have, trying to educate those of them who are falling out, disappearing. But we already know what all this has been about. It has been about erasing the African man and the African woman and everything they have built so that they can claim it. So yes, these days, they don't have to come and do that themselves. They don't need to enslave us. They don't need to colonize us. We are the ones doing ourselves. You could see our fathers in the 60s, they fought. None of them had access to power to make changes for our people in America, but they gave it all. But post that, what did the white man do? The white man say, oh, we're going to give you inclusion. We're going to give you money for hating Africa and Africans. We're going to reward you each time you come publicly and say, oh, we're not African, we are blacks, right? When you go out there and repeat everything we taught you, we will reward you. But if you stay brute, if you stay authentic, if you stay untamed, we're going to do the worst to you. That's what happened here. So you're not fooling anybody.
Talaba Swahili, Talaba Swahili, Talabango, 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 Ale Talabango.
I'm gonna be the first one to tell y'all that we so damn uneducated over here that we really think that Africa is only one skin tone and one phenotype. There are over 3,000 tribes and 2,000 languages in Africa. It is impossible for everybody to look the same. There are light skins, light skins, medium light skins, dark light skins, brown skins, light brown skins, dark brown skins. Then you got dark skins, light dark skins, and dark skins. Just because you light skinned don't make your ass a Native American. I'm from the Choctaw tribe. I already checked. Then Morgan Freeman said that same dumb shit. And then when he took his DNA test, it said the opposite. I remember some of my family members used to be like, oh, you must be from the islands or something, because I had curly hair. I'm a Igbo. That's what my DNA test said. Ever since I took my DNA test, I done found at least 15 people that look exactly like me from the Igbos. think it's time to have a conversation, man. Look, that American education system, it ain't doing y'all too well. Now all of a sudden the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen. Do y'all know how y'all sound right now? But I forgot. Let me get myself back in order, because I forgot that I graduated with a 4.0 magna cum laude while I was in college, a 3.8, and I'm dealing with a bunch of mother who was in a slow class. So no, I ain't no foundational American. I don't claim to be American because the term America comes from an Italian map maker, Amerigo Vespucci. How can you be an Italian? What were you before you got to America? No, you're not an Aborigine, because nobody is Aboriginal to the land of America. Everyone came here on ships or by plane. Get it through your skull.
You are who you are because of your ancestors. If it's so comfortable for you to stand out there and divide us and continue the work of the slave masters and the colonizer, it's because you come from a bloodline that used to do that. This is where we are. So when he said, people don't include us, I'm sure he was talking about the Caribbeans and the Africans. People don't want to include us. Why include a group of people who have, according to themselves, created their own identity that does not include African? Even in the designation of their name, they call themselves black, just a color. That's just not enough. I'm going to tell you why African doesn't include you, or African doesn't take your complaints seriously. They promise them benefits in exchange of hating Africa. Just like you heard your brother say, you sell out your people for wealth. Yeah, many of you do that. Every day, all the time, you see opportunity in anything, even the most atrocious thing. You don't care. You compete to be the first one to do this, the first one to do that, to just go and continue the agenda of the former master. Many of us choose the money, the fame, the everything, and sacrifice our own people. Here we have the U.S. ambassador at the UN, Miss Linda Thomas, blocking Africa from accessing the Security Council. When Miss Linda Thomas, she made a lousy comment saying, bringing Africa in the Security Council will make the Security Council dysfunctional. I'm sure the masters were sitting there laughing. We're so glad we don't have to do that ourselves. And by the way, the same woman, the same Black American woman, voted against the ceasefire in Gaza. So let's stop killing the Palestinians. She said no. Keep making it rain on them. This is the reputation your collective is building among us members of the Global South. Let's continue. And then we have the black generals, the black everything, who go, these two guys who are known to go home to threaten our people. You better not trade with Russia. You better not have Russia sell you weapons, right? The very same weapons that cause us not to win the war because our forefathers didn't have weapons. So we have sons who were captured by the enemy and brainwashed to go and threaten their father on the continent. You better not get jacked from Russia. My master's military bases must be here. And you better give them way to get whatever they want from this homeland, no matter how they treat your other stupid children back at home, and so and so. You guys are clowns. Let's continue. Ambassador Susan Rice, she's known to be the last person to have seen President Abiola of Nigeria alive. Do you know why the US went after him? He was going to be the first one to claim you, to demand reparation for what they've done to you. That's the process it should take. It takes a parent to claim you. So one of your blackies here, that's when they give you positions such as ambassador. You light-skinned woman, get in there and get him for us. And that's exactly what she did. And of course, we have the big guy, the Monkosian terror of Africa, President Obama, who blew up Libya and alive Gaddafi and set the continent half a century back. This is what we get from America. Now what? The same group of you come and open up your lousy mouth against us on a daily basis. But we laugh because we know you to be sell out. Now children
need to stay away from you. All of those claiming Africa need to stay away, because the spirit of your master is the one ruling you. You're no longer one of us. The Congo spirit have left that vessel long time ago, and we know what you do. You lead your masters to us. So we have to stay clear. We have to stay away. You're just a black shell with a white supremacist spirit in it. Our prince, Rizza Islam, is very right. We have buried too many of our forefathers for us not to have learned anything about our struggle. So yes, we are for the separation. We have to be like-minded, to hang out together, to collab, to include you. Okay? We have buried too many of our fathers to still be blindsided by just the color of the skin. We know better than that. And to our children, our Igbos born in that land, our Yorubas, our Fang, our Tekes, our Punus, our Chogos, all of you, you who have found us, stay away from them. Don't get them in your bed. Don't mix blood. We covered. Be careful what you bring into your bloodline. Not because the man is fine, not because the woman is fine, but they come from trash. You're gonna lead your ancestors into destruction. Be careful who you mix blood with, because that stupidity gonna be transferred onto your kids. And you're gonna bring shame and disgrace to your bloodline, laying with things like that.
My granddad used to tell me about them Africans back in Mississippi. When I was growing up in Mississippi, he used to say, you gotta watch out for them people. I said, what you mean, granddad? Why I gotta watch out for them people for? I mean, white people like, nah, them Africans. Africans, they look like me. They look like me. We got the same skin color. He said, they ain't got our mindset. They got that white boy mindset. I'm like, nah. Years later, I made a friend named Zimbubu from Nigeria. I was go to Zimbubu's house and knock on his door. His daddy used to come to the door mean as hell. His mom used to have an attitude. So I asked Zimbubu, why your family like that? He said, my family don't like black Americans. He said they call you akatas. They say we lazy. They say we got baby mamas and baby daddies and we don't believe in marriage. I'm like, really? So I said, why? So I asked him, why so many orphanages in Nigeria and your homeland? The black Americans don't really give up kids like that.
Why you think Chinese kids aren't killed by cops? Why you think East Indian children aren't killed by cops? Why do you think Arab children, even with the war on terror, are not killed by police? Because they have nations around the country who will stand up and show out if America disrespects any one of their international citizens. We're the only non-white group in America who don't have a nation willing to come to our aid, and that's why we suffer.
I don't understand why Africans hate their own people. Like, just because we live in a different country doesn't make us any different than y'all. I mean, sure, our culture is different, but genetically, we're literally the same. And you want to know what's crazy? African people copy American culture, and black people want more of their culture. Like, really? We're literally going in separate directions, and that's what's dividing us. This stupid ignorance on both sides needs to stop. Like, it's honestly so dumb. I can't even believe I'm ranting about it on TikTok right now. Just love everyone. Understand both sides. It's that easy. And honestly, this is something I can rant about all day. If you guys are interested, follow me and let me know you want more.
So, I went to Ghana for 2 months. I never really came back until, told my story about what I experienced. It was my first time in Africa. It was my first time in Ghana. It was literally my first time traveling outside of the country on my own. It was a really big thing for me. Of course, a lot of people was scared. Me, yeah, because I'm used to at least having one of my siblings around. And, yeah. But there's this narrative that's being pushed that Africans do not want us in their countries, on the continent. It's a lie. Y'all, I went there and all they were saying to me was, you are welcome, you are welcome. These people did not know me, but they took such good care of me. I'm talking about such good care of me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And sometimes I hear people say, well, crime happened everywhere. Not like it happens in Michigan. Look, I was in Ghana, and there was like one crime that happened. No, out of 2 months, I would say like 2 things happened. And they were handled, like right on spot. They were handled. But the crazy part is that there's these white people coming to Africa. They're going to the worst parts, the slummiest parts of Africa, and they taking pictures of it. They bringing them and they posting them on America like websites. You know, like when we go to Africa, our Google changes, and it changes to like the language, the different languages in Ghana. Ewe, tree, you know, different things, guy, like it changes, you know, but the food was totally different. The fruit was totally different. The avocados were so huge, $1 for a huge avocado. The meat, the pineapples, what? I had never in my life tasted such good pineapple. The avocados, I just can't get my mind off of it. I lost 20 pounds just from eating the fruits and veggies. And I did eat indomie. I did eat fufu, banku, the tilapia fish had bones. It blew my mind. But I loved it. The people were awesome. The club scene, they say lounge there. It's not club. But it was so fun. Y'all follow me.
And while we on the subject, since everybody mad, I don't like the way Black Americans treat African immigrants. I don't like it. You see it all the time. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't like that. They come here looking to us for acceptance, and how everybody else treats you, you treat them. I don't like that. And it's happening too much for my taste. Don't get on here talking about, oh, we treat, no, you don't. You know you make fun of them, and you know what you call them. I can't repeat it on here because they'll flag me. I don't like that. Africans come here looking to us to be skin folk. You hear what I'm saying? But they get treated. They already got a deal, you know, with the discrimination of being an immigrant. And then they look to black people for comfort, Black Americans for comfort, and they don't get none. I don't like that. That is what you need to be focused on before you as a black person try to open your mouth against other groups of people of color. It's a different, you know, it's already disheartening to receive discrimination from everybody else who is not black. But when you look to your own people who are so far removed from their culture that they don't know that anymore, and you look to them for comfort, and they treat you like dirt too, it's a different type of disheartening. You know, Africans don't have to come here and help us, you know, advance our medicine, advance our skills. Goes back to the Gorilla Glue lady. Okay, an African doctor was the one who saved her hair because everybody else was talking about cutting off, you know, just doing a bunch of surgery that didn't need to be done. He used simple olive oil and some other natural ingredients to remove that glue from her hair. He didn't have to do that. So the least that we can do when Africans come here is be way more kind and inviting to them instead of being so discriminatory. I don't like when y'all do that, and you need to stop. African immigrants are so kind and sweet, and even all the discrimination they face from Black Americans, they still keep a smile on their face. It just breaks my heart to see it. They are so helpful, facing all this discrimination from people who look just like them. Boy, that's what you need to talk about.
Here in America, you guys are still insulting us nappy. To you guys, even those of our children born here whose ancestors didn't give away to these ones and they stay pure. I see them sometimes. I've seen Africans here whose bloodline remain pure. You know what they do to our children? They bully them. They call them nappy head. So when you uphold the nonsense you were taught, you absorb that hatred and go with it. Who's gonna call you a cookout? Who's gonna want to associate with you? You made it clear you don't belong to us anymore. You chose to serve the interests of the unaliver of our forefathers, the rapists of our foremothers and mothers and sisters and us, the massive and locker of our people, because they understand they got you at your weakness. You have become greedier than the masters.
Apparemment, quand deux personnes se regardent fixement dans les yeux, c'est toujours la personne la plus moche qui sourit en premier. On va tester ça tout de suite. T'es prêt? 3, 2, 1. Tu es foutu.
Because a lot of them put in your shoe, they won't do the kind of things many of our children agree to settle just for a check. They will wage war on you before you dehumanize them to that point. Many of you go for the okie doke. This is high risk. These are like high risk relationships. So yeah, and you're very divisive. So when some of us go, all right, as lost kids, you see one of us who come from home. Instead of asking me, how's dad, how's mom? You go, oh, my brother, come here. By the way, you cease being African, okay? If you want us to be cool, you're gonna have to claim black. You're gonna have to claim black, okay? We're no longer African, we're black. We are our own nation. We have our own this, we have our own that, not knowing that the knowledge, the ingenuity, the everything came from Africa. Who wants to associate to a kid who tell his brother, forget about dad and mom, they are nothing to us anymore. We have no lineage, we are blacks, okay? We're in the land of opportunity. Let's make a new tribe. Let's begin from scratch. Let's call ourselves this.
You call this twerking, but it was originally known as mapuka, which quite literally means the same thing. Mapuka, or twerking, has the power to remove stagnant blood from the uterus and even fibroid cysts. Not only that, but it empowers your womb space and increases circulation to your sacral chakra, okay? So this is how we gain more creativity. So if ever you're dealing with low self-esteem, creative block, or womb trauma, I encourage you to practice mapuka. You're welcome, and I love you.
Now, my children, let us dare do a little comparison, all right? Now, let me compare the ones here in America with our children who now have access to power elsewhere in the America. Let's bring up our honorable, our beautiful and amazing daughter, pride of her fathers, joy of her mother, the most love of our diasporan politician daughters out there, Madam VP of Colombia, your sister, Señora Marcia Márquez, vicepresidente de la República de Colombia. Aquí está our princess. For the first time in history, one of us is a VP of the country. Do you know what our daughter did there? Every day, every official she represents, she's in her African print, in her African nappy hair. Yes, look at her, representing with class, with beauty, with dignity, with royalty. It screams royalty when you look at her. That she looks like a slave to you, huh? This is someone I know my grandfather would have loved to live long enough to see. This is a complete royal. Our blood doesn't lie. Look at our daughter, Francia Marquez, Madam VP of Colombia. Our daughter stands with pride in her roots. She's reminding these people, you may have seen me walking around nameless, cultureless, and blah, blah, blah. So you thought, boom, here are our gears. Now, you two are going to learn our languages in your school. She implemented the teaching of Swahili, and I heard now of Lingala. Not even pretend. We came to America, we found you hateful. This is a video of our fathers, Malcolm X.
Well, African than he is American. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves. without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. And you show me one of these people over here who have been thoroughly brainwashed, who has a negative attitude toward Africa, and I'll show you one that has a negative attitude toward himself.
Right? Warning you about that hatred Master have taught you, and that you deliberately you teach to your generation after generation after generation. That's the programming from slavery. But many of you are so intellectually dishonest, emotionally dishonest to admit it, that yeah, this is a programming we got from the former masters and we need to get rid of it, okay? And I don't know any African who come here getting out of the airplane, planning, plotting to come and assault or mistreat any of you. I see like the brainwash they put in you made you really believe you don't come from us, because if you even believe that you came from us, you will understand. How would you react? People just push you around all the time. People taunt you around. It's gonna make you a beast. Yes. So we learn to become beasts here. And when we go home, even our sibling tells us that you always on survival mode. You always ready to fight somebody. Many of our family members don't recognize us when we go back, because this is the level of stress you put around us. Most people who attack us at school, at work, or blah, 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 are usually black. There's no comparison. What we get from Americans and what we get from our other children born elsewhere in the Americas. High African pride. That's what you need to do. So when we praise, when we elevate the land we hailed from, you won't be bothered, okay? But what bothers you is you claim you're American, you claim you're American. But when you sober up, America spits on your face every day. The land you claiming to be yours does not want you, and the whole world is there to see. So when you see people who still have a root they cling to, a root that they know that come push to shove, they're gonna run to, it makes you mad. But you have nobody to be mad at but yourself. That's why our prince said, since you want to call people out, let me put you on the spot. We have to separate so that we only deal with those of us who are like-minded. And there can be no slave maker. There can be no slave owners. There can be no turncoats. There can be no collaborators. He made it clear. Yes, the prince said, let it be clear. All right? He said we cannot unite with the slave makers. Let me break it down to you, because when your brothers get so deep, many of you, it flies over your head. I'm realizing that. Let me break it down to you what your brother is talking about. Those of you who teach hatred, who give our children no hope, who give our children no root, even though they know better. But because they couldn't heal, they pass down that hatred. You're making another generation of slaves. Each time you sit there and insult their homeland, that child on your lap, Africa is her home too. But you're taking away the option she could have and say, let me be out and here. Let me go find my people. Those of you who perpetrate the ignorance and teach others that you're not from Africa, what you're doing is you're making another generations of slaves. You're perpetrating the mental slavery. He said we don't collaborate with slave owners. Some of us hold their husband, wife, children, relatives, whatever, as slaves. Other ones of us feed our collective to their masters for their rewards, right? It's a disease that came from slavery. We can't run from all the madness, all the junk they put in your blood. We have to purge it out. That's what we need to do. Instead of dangling, you're not fooling anybody. We show compassion, we show love, but nothing can help you heal unless you become intellectually honest and emotionally honest. Hey, my name is so and so. I have a problem. Hey, my name is so and so. Yeah, I'm a black supremacist. And deal with it. Go to therapy, do whatever. But stop getting on people's face. Come on. We know where you got that hatred from. We know why you say the things you say. We know why you act the way you act. our son, Prince Rizza Islam. Shut it down. Don't you think that we are desperate to unite with people just because they're blacks? Our son gave the breakdown. You have to be on the same frequency, same mindset, same understanding of what's what to even be allowed in our presence. This is not a popularity contest. This is matter of survival of our people. Do you think we want to hang out with people who are no longer us? People who don't see anything as us? People who have no values, no morals. They prepare for war while you enjoy in peace. You talk with them as if nothing, you entrust in everything. They're recording you. They're recording your private conversation so they can use it at some time against you. Who want to be around people like that? People who prepare for war when you're in blissful, peaceful time. People who create conflicts when they're none. Who wants that? You have a high opinion of your brokenness. That's what I see. That people want you so bad. That people copy. Copy what? Your dysfunction? Come on now, children. Come on. And it's funny, they go around comparing themselves to children from other nations, such as Chinese. Chinese don't have traitors. The code of the Chinese code of honor, if you betray China, they come and wipe out your entire family. Chinese would never betray. So when their government bunk up behind them, their government know what they're doing. Okay? Their government know the asset they're protecting, because their government has risen to a point is strong. But what happens to a land when even the strongest sons work against it? Those abroad and those at home. Those abroad, in fact, those who landed in the mighty country of America. A lot of them go around with the rhetoric, oh, our people didn't come and claim us, our people didn't come and save us, our people. In which position are we until today? Now things are even worse when they use you, our own children, to come and tie our hands. Linda Thomas claiming, putting Africa in the Security Council will bring dysfunction to the Security Council. They want to keep it like that. It was going to give Africa the veto right. Africa was going to have a say-so to what they do to you guys here. How do you want us to come and help you when you yourself are tying our hands and feet? This is the part you don't forget. And when we look into your history, you are the same one your former master armed and sent to Liberia and set the country on fire. You want to talk? Who do you take us for? As loud as they are, you will never hear them shout when their government strikes against Africa. There were no march when they went and blew up Libya. There were no march when they went and blew up other countries such as Iraq. There were no march when they go home and black faces go and threaten our fathers on the continent. There are no march. They make you almost feel like they like it. They like it. I'm staying with you. I claim I'm your spouse, or I claim I'm your wife or whatever, but I hold that fear over you that at any time I can turn and destroy you. That's the sick psychology of Machiavelli, who was nothing far from a demon. So when I look at the rich our children in America have, the exposure, the fame, the wealth, but when they go and strike against their homeland, they don't march, they don't say anything, they don't sing song against it. It let us know that you like what your government are doing on our people. You participating in the mess, you helping them. So we need to be quiet. We really need to be quiet before we start pointing fingers. Because as long as the traitors of our people go unpunished, in contrary, not only they are rewarded by the masters, but they are praised by our own people. They want to become their groupies when they take them and put them in a high seat to undermine our people. Until today, someone like Obama still have groupies, still has a big following, and the same people are crying about being oppressed. It's hard to believe. If they made you that dumb, then enjoy the life of brutality that they're feeding you. But don't get on our faces and be mad at us, because we are deeply rooted into who we are. We are unmoved by your cry and your tears. At this point, your feeling don't matter, because it's you doing yourself. To anybody still going out there, oh, African haters, you need to be quiet, you need to shut up, because we came in this country, we made you hating us and hating yourselves. We have nothing to do with it. So stop projecting your madness, your insufficiencies, your whatever you're going through on us. You choose to strip yourself naked, hoping to get rewards from your masters. That's the problem you have. That's the disease that's been eating your bloodline, whomever you came from. They were weak. They were nobodies. In fact, they were traitors just like you. Okay? It's in your blood. So stop dangling on our faces with that. We made you hateful. Okay? Hateful of yourself and hateful of us. This is not a new problem. It's been there since any of us could arrive here on visa or anything else. So let's lay that one to rest. Now, to our proud African, keep going, keep forging forward. You have to understand that we are in an ideological warfare. Okay? They want to trample on Africa and Africans. They want to trample on the legacy of our forefathers. They want to trample on us. We will trample on them. You should fight these people with the same intensity we are fighting the masters, because they have become their masters. They are the product of their masters. They are the pet of their masters. You need to do everything within your power to recover your sanity. You need to do everything within your power to recover your humanity. Your humanity is attached to your roots. You have to have a root that defines you as a group of people with a culture, with a spirituality, with languages, with everything that goes with such. Being black, I'm afraid, is just not enough. And don't be mad at us that we don't want to degrade ourselves. We come from royalties who were captured. They didn't make us slaves, they enslaved us. That's the big difference between your brain and ours. So when our children go around social media proudly claiming they're black, we know exactly what they're doing. They're selling out, all right? They're telling master, those laws you enforced in the past about us are still in full effect. Look, master, you forbade us from expressing love to one another during Jim Crow and slavery. So now I'm still serving you, master. That's why their channel grow. That's why they let them be. But just keep in mind, not everybody finds dysfunction attractive. I don't like anything dysfunctional. People who are rude, people who are scheming, always plotting against the people around them, always seeking opportunity to bring people down, always seeking opportunity to shame somebody, always seeking opportunity to put somebody in the worst position. Who wants that? So yeah, get mad, and you're gonna hear more of that, because the more our children are awakening, they're finding their roots and openly claiming it. Your eardrum gonna bust. You see the Igbo kids, very proud. I'm Igbo. That's what we love. They found their root. So be lost, but you're not going to use this as collateral. So my dear children, that was it for today. Our beautiful ones, our amazing children, our deserving children, may you be divinely protected. May our holy ancestors camp around you 24/7 and around your children and loved ones. Any traitor setting eyes on you shall never find you. Wherever they gather to trap you, you shall disappear. You are sons and daughters of Africa. So now, peace in your homes, love in your hearts, and unity, my lovelies. Until next time, mwah!